through the same forum of teaching the awareness about the dangers of taking these grants, maybe we should also be proactive to try and relook at how the parents are parenting at home, to give more lessons and more, just more awareness on being good parents, on finding the time to spend at home. Like what he mentioned today, for men to spend more time at home. I have that problem. I mean, he's always out. Either he plays rugby, now he's in the church. This is reality. This is reality. Men are not usually at home. They go play rugby, or you have your social life, or you go and do other things that you do, which makes sense because you are in a community that you're being involved in. You're doing things, the right thing. But you are away from home. You become the missing element from home. Moms are always there. But now in Fiji, it's not only the men that are missing. The moms too are also missing. So moms are hardly at home as well because of work, because of other things that they're committed in. So, social, community involvement that they are part of. So most of these things, in having our children and our grandchildren being exposed to all these things, it stems back from home. It stems back from the livelihood that we are creating for them. So we cannot be angry at us or not openly talk about being away from home. No, we cannot blame it only on our children. We as parents or grandparents are also part of the problem and the decision that our children and our grandchildren are taking. This is my personal opinion. Because I am a strong advocate in staying home. I am a strong advocate when it comes to family life. I stay with my grandchildren. I speak things that I know I made an error with my children, that I lack with my children. I was so involved in work that most of the times I come home late. Most of the times I come home, my children are sleeping. So when I see the fruits of the life that they live, the decision that they make, I blame myself for it. I mean, I always talk about my daughter who left home early. I always talk about my daughter who chose otherwise than follow me to church. I'm not 100% blaming her. I blame me too. I blame myself for not being a good mother. I blame myself for not being there when she needs it. I blame myself. Maybe I should have, or I could have, known the signs and do something else that will help her, to stay home or to help her make the right decision. So it doesn't become 100% her fault. It becomes my fault too as a mother. And that is why we cannot place the blame totally on our children and our grandchildren in making these decisions and doing what they want to do. We as parents have a part to play. We as grandparents have a part to play. So like in your whole week, you just ask yourself, we should be asking ourselves, how many times do we spend with our children or with our grandchildren at home? I try as much when I do the program for the church, at least he stays home for some of the evening. Because if it's up to him, he will be doing other things because it's the church. And it's correct, yeah? We look after the church. But these are the commitment that we don't want to talk about. I mean, he doesn't like talking about these things. We don't want to talk about these things that you're away from home. We want to look like the perfect people out there. We are not perfect. I'm not perfect. I can talk about my family. I can talk about my weakness because I know that if I have learned from my weakness, maybe it can benefit some of you that are watching today. We cannot continuously say that we are good or we are good parents or we are doing everything right and we put all the blame to our children and our grandchildren. No, we as parents, we as grandparents, we also have a part to play in the decision that they are making. They are the fruits of your upbringing. When I see my son, when I see my daughter making those decisions that are wrong, that are not godly, I blame myself as part of that. What did I do? Did I teach them? Did I really make it clear? Or what could I have done to stop them from making those decisions? I blame myself as well. So maybe looking at this concept or this whole outlook of creating that awareness, don't just create the awareness of the results of taking the grant. Also create the awareness of being proactive in them going out to take those grants. Create this awareness of being good parents. Create this awareness of being a present parent at home, the present grandparents at home, to be present with your family. Create this awareness. We are actually giving it to the church to get these church leaders and to talk to the youth. But what about these church leaders? What about us as church leaders? Are we doing it with our family back at home? How can we go and talk about these things to all other youths and make it an awareness, or being a community head to talk about this awareness to all this group of youths that are looking up to you and listen to you, and you cannot even do that with your children back at home, and you cannot even do that with your grandchildren back at home. Because I believe we must start from home. If all of us start from home, then that, I think, can help with a little percentage of these youths leaving home or looking out of curiosity, experimenting all these things because they've heard it from home. So, like what I said, open forum, whatever that we talk about here, it doesn't become the only thing to, fix this problem or the only solution. Open. Let's openly talk about it, because it doesn't, the government cannot do it on their own. The community leaders cannot do it on their own. Church leaders cannot do it on their own. We need to work together. And then it's so easy to say we need to work together. But when there is a forum for everybody to come together, hardly people come together. They don't even make that effort to come together, to work together in this forum. I'm a very practical person, which means whatever that I say out, whatever that I give out, I want to see that works. I like working with things that works. And sometimes, like there's a tick to say they all got together, or there's a tick, or the churches are working together, or we take the government and the church is working together. But if you look deeper into this forum, how real is that? Is that well represented with all the churches coming together? Is it well represented with all these, faith-based denominations are coming together? Then we need first to see that all the togetherness, as we are talking about, that works. So if that works, then you are sure whatever that you discuss, it's going to reach all these grassroots people or reach down to the level, because everybody is represented. But if we just have a handful few that are talking about which way to go and the things to do, and this handful few, they don't have that connection to the grassroots people, then it becomes a thesis, it becomes, just like a document that you can create, done, and type out that it's a done deal. But to see realistically the practicality of getting these things or that paperwork reach the right people and achieve what it's supposed to be achieved, I don't think that's going to work. So, like what I said, this Family Table Talk, open forum, and it's about time that we start talking about it. I work in a company that is a television company. I don't see much of the advertisement, paid advertisement. Maybe when we create this awareness, we should or we must get some business houses on board to help, to sponsor, to put up that awareness. The awareness. We are saying don't take grants. It can be just, a blanket, don't take grants. But there's not much to show the results of when you take grants. Maybe we should go deeper and create this concept of getting teachers and more awareness on the results of the grants and have more of that. I think in New Zealand and Australia, I see that nearly every, every movie that you're watching or every channel that you're watching, every now and then you have that ad comes in on the grants. And I think in America as well. But for Fiji, it's not as much. It's not like considering the volume, considering the effects, considering the percentage of that grant's presence in Fiji, then I believe that I don't know whose responsibility it is, or whether, because I work for a media company, then I believe I'm taking ownership. Then it should be our responsibility to go out to other business houses or to look out for sponsorship. If they're willing to come on board to, to advertise these things, to create that awareness, or even get in people that can be speaking on these grants on a 30 minutes clip every day, on a 30 minutes time, air time. So at least they're listening to it. Somebody else is talking about these things. If they're already hearing it from home, there is a forum that they can still, listen to. And we cannot stop our children and grandchildren. They are accessible to their phone. So they watch all these things. And if we don't tell them, they're telling them. They're learning from there. So one way or the other, it's there. It's here to stay. And it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse. And if it's going to go that way, so the only thing we can do is to safeguard, try as much as possible to save the people, save our loved ones, to create that awareness, and conversation, open talk about what is happening to us.
Yeah, this is one of the awareness, talking about family talk. and really struck me what she said. Because because we travel a lot, all this thing is put on television, on like the effect or don't do this advertisement, and we never see that.
Yeah, Fiji it's hardly. I mean, they do, but not as much.
Yeah. And one thing there are other people that they survive that.
Yeah.
They can come and like people they survive sickness, or survive maybe cancer, or they come and talk about it.
Yeah.
But there are some people they survive drugs.
Yeah. You know? They become drug free.
Yeah. And these are the people. That's a very, very good idea.
I think we should create a show and get these people to come. These people, their experience, because they've been there.
Yeah, and it'll be more effective if they come and talk about their experience. For us, we are just making the awareness, but we never been that road.
Yeah.
But like for somebody that went through the experience, how powerful that they can come, the level they reach.
Yeah.
I remember one of our senior pastors back in Nandi, when he used to testify on marijuana high, when he looked at his sister, his mother, he was testifying in Kalibu, and I mean a young senior pastor, and these are the people when they share. You stand back and say, man, we never think that it can take you, this far.
Yeah, because no matter how deep you are in, don't ever think that you cannot get out of it. You can get out of it,
Every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
So that's why the awareness is only small part of that solution. And getting the people that they already survive, as you said, sponsor for all the television, newspaper.
There's a lot of things that we can do, a lot of things that we can create, or even get somebody as a host to talk about these things. Look, there are certain things that we don't want to talk about, but I believe that it's about time that we should be talking about these things. And no one is perfect. We in the church, we're not perfect. Amazingly, in our church, we have a lot, I could say, quite a few those who are taking grants and how they manage.
You remember
they get out of those zombie moments and how they're good.
You remember you were talking about the mission, and this one good example. And when they come, they were full of drugs.
Like at that time, I was oblivious to the fact that they even exist. Because your life is so protected, you don't see, you only watch it in the movies. But to think that you have some people around you that, taking that and they are capable of doing that.
Later when they start to testify, and you realize, and you start to understand that one of the great solution is the work of God in their life. Because when they came in, few of them are senior pastors today. When they came in, they were into these drugs, and just listening to their testimony. Nothing else we did, at that time. The only thing is to teach them and to teach them.
And that is why we should create that awareness and get in the real people who have gone through it. Don't get us wrong. Church is not a place for perfect people. Church is
That's why they run to church.
For the needy. And most people, they say, okay, that's for the righteous people, holy. This for the holy people to go to.
The holy club.
But the church, the way I look at it, that's why I'll always say it for those of you that are still tuning in. There are a lot of people who have been coming to church and then they stop coming, and I always tell them, maybe you're tired of living your life. You're standing on the sideline and said, I used to go to that church, and you're still watching, still listening. Come back. I always tell you people, come back. No one is perfect. No one in this church is perfect. We try as much to live a better life and be a better person, the next day. And it doesn't make us perfect. We're not perfect. We try and better our lives every day. We try and be better a person, be better people, be better, community members, or be better church, leaders, or just be a better grandparents, be a better mom and dad. We try and better ourselves all the time. So no one is perfect, because once you take that perfection out of your mind, and then you will know that no one is expecting you to be perfect. And for the church, for us, that's one thing that I've always highlighted to our leaders or to people that are looking after different churches all over the world. When people come, don't judge them, because most of the time the church are being seen as judgmental. Like only the drug-free people go there, the smoke-free people go there, the sin-free people go there. No, that's a place to go to. And and then we can be a strong advocate to mention and to say that we have quite a few that have come in, really deep into grants. Either they come in as mission, or they come in, and a few of them are being senior pastors, on how you just see that change.
Transformation.
Which, if I have to explain, I'll be preaching. And, because God creates us, and just like when your car, something goes wrong with your car, maintenance of your car, your engine gives up on you right in the middle of the road, or smoke coming out from your engine, you will not go to the dentist to do that. You will go to the mechanic, because the mechanic learns all those, whatever that you have in your car or what vehicle you're driving, only the mechanic can fix that. Or if you have a toothache or something's wrong with your teeth, you'll automatically take it to the dentist. You won't go to the mechanic to use their big equipment and spanner to pull out your teeth. No, you'll go to the dentist. And same as I believe for us who believe that we are created by God, and God creates us, when something goes wrong with our life, if we are sick, or if we abuse our body, or we need maintenance, like parts of your life or your body is damaged, then you will need to go to the Creator who creates you. And that's what I believe. And I see it works for the people who have come back, who have come to the church looking for that solace. I still remember like early days in the missionary on how, because we still have that mission base until today. We have 2 bases now of about 20 plus boys in each. And we have another one, 17 or 18. These are mission boys. And some of these children, they come from broken homes, or some they don't even know their parents. They are brought up by their grandparents. And when they pass on, they have no one else to go to. So, they come and join the mission for different reasons and from different backgrounds. And I can remember in the early stage of this missionary, we call them the mission boys, we used to have this boy. And most of the time, the team leader will be saying, he's been seen holding on to the cane knife, because they used to go out and do other things. They do their, cleaning up, planting as part of the program. And in the middle of the night, we'll have the team leader saying, he's gone out again. And when I found him, he was walking around with a cane knife, And automatically, we believe that because he came with it, he was deep into grants. And for some needs more supervision. And but in anything and everything, it works. It works. So for those of you that may be listening to us today and you regret where you are at, you are taking out of fun, or pressured into taking it, or curiosity takes you there. And now you are there in a place that you say you cannot come back. If you listen to us today, there's always a place to go back to. If you belong to a church, go back. Just go back. He's the only fixer. Because I believe whatever that medically that can be done cannot restore you to your normalcy, or to restore you back to normal. Because whatever you've taken is either eaten out your brain, or not any other things that your life once had and now you don't have. And medically, they cannot replace all those things or top it up the way it's supposed to be. I believe that if you go back to God, it can do that for you. If you are in that stage.
That's something that we can talk and ideas. But as you said, for us, we've seen work for the last 21 years. The people that they are deep into drugs, marijuana. In those days, marijuana is the worst one. But now we have some new other drugs coming in. But all in all, it proved to us. Because we can talk about the awareness, we can talk about what solution, the training, the counseling. But when the Creator touches the created things goes back to the time that the Creator creates him. And I
Yeah.
believe that is one of the solution. The science, or maybe the time, even our intellect will not go that way.
Yeah.
But for us, we are just sharing our experience that we see. No, when you talk to some boys now, they are senior pastors, they are youth or members again or elders in the church. And then you start to realize, so the solution really is God.
Yeah.
When God comes in, He takes away. I remember that even some lost their memory. Just one evangelism about 1 month ago, I was listening to this senior pastor. Now he's a taxi driver, married to a teacher, and they're living somewhere there in the interior. And he was saying when he was youth, most of the time, that he lost memory. Sometimes he cannot.
Those are the effects.
Yeah.
The effects of not taking grants.
And when he comes in and start to fast and pray and involved with the church and all these things, that he can't memorize a Bible verse. Now he goes out to town with a memory verse.
That's what can happen to you. For those of you that are deep into it, we are not here to preach. We are not here to tell you go to church. But we are here to share with us the available, just like, if you are depressed and you are about to commit suicide, just like as they promote the lifeline, that's another lifeline. The lifeline that you can go to when you're really, really deep into it and you need help. That's the lifeline to go to. Well, now as we come towards the end of this program, it's amazing on how there's a lot to say that it's really taken up, all this time. Still being on the same topic. So, moving forward, I think creating more awareness, as he mentioned, for us to move forward to. And for those of you that are living abroad all over the world, for it okay that are listening in or follow this program or get to hear about this program later, whatever is available there in Fiji, it's also there in the country, the same country as you are in. So even though it's easy to say that Fiji is really getting worse, considering with all these things, the same thing too is happening in all other countries as well. Maybe in Fiji it's very obvious because it's a small nation and it's mostly family integrated and it's a beautiful community. So when these little things that come and it becomes a threat to this community, the highlights are there. And I'm glad that the media are highlighting it because it creates their awareness that we can consider it serious. Because if not, it's one of those things that comes and goes without even any reference made to. But as much as we talk about it, then we are creating that awareness. I see the printed media every now and then they are creating it. And also when it becomes a news article for the media that I'm in or the TV station that I'm in, we don't do news, but we have our journalists that actually update the website, whatever that they can get their hands off, and Lavinia Vonro does a very good job when it comes to W. Simbanove. Thank you for doing that. And the only thing that I can say is to continue to create that awareness, or maybe the government of the day should allocate a fund to across the 3 broadcasters, other than just one broadcasting station airing it, to create that awareness not only on the TV, social media, but also on the FM 96, on the radio stations, as well as the printed media. I'd like to have a budget towards these things because it's affecting our community and affecting our nation.
Yes.
The greater things that we want to make for our nation to achieve and all these good things we want to do for our citizens, we can consider that we can help our citizens to be better by not taking these grants, by being aware that these things can lead to that. There's a lot of extramarital affairs, a lot of family breakdowns, a lot of marriage breakup. I believe we are not totally blaming on the grants, but it can be these substances that they take, it's leading them. They don't have enough of it at home, and they continue to look out for it. And once, I believe we were in Brisbane at the time, we were speaking and talking about the pornography. In Fiji as well, is high. So all these things are associated. When you high on grants, if you talk about these grants that you can go without water, without food, without sleeping for days, and all you do, like your water, your food, and your sleep becomes sex, that's there. And you cannot have that and not watching this pornography. You will be looking out for things to feed your face, feed your heart's content, because you become a totally different person. So it increases pornography, it increases HIV cases. All this stems from that sex. And And then when some I heard, because I heard one of the, I had one of these prayer requests, not this year, it was last year, about this lady who vibered, and I know you may be, she vibered and she said, for the last 2 years, I think I've lost my husband. And we are still together, but I've lost my husband. I really couldn't get what she was saying, not until I read down. I lost my husband to pornography. And she said, we are living in the same house, we are sharing the same bedroom, but my husband preferred to go to the pornography than my life standing there as, his wife. So these are real pictures or scenarios that are happening in most homes. Because when you take a little bit of it, or drugs, and it leads you to desire to watch that pornography, and you're watching this pornography and you cannot do it with your spouse, or you cannot perform whatever that you're watching with your legitimate partner, you'll go out looking for illegitimate ones. You'll go picking up girls from the street to come and practice out whatever that you're watching because you can't get it from home. And if that takes you to another level, then you're leaving your family and getting involved with extramarital affairs. So these are all the results of taking this. It's not only walking around in zombie, losing your mind, or doing other things. These are all repercussions of that. That doesn't only leave our children and our grandchildren being the takers of this grant. It's even parents that are taking grants. Even grandparents are taking grants. So we cannot, continuously blame generation. It's affecting levels of generation, and it's bigger than what we thought.
It's funny when...
So the awareness must be made not only to the children that we are targeting and the grandchildren and the youth, it's also for us, parents.
It's funny when you share, because drugs, the bigger drugs, according to the printed media, that there are bigger fellas out there, that they hold position, they have money. That's why they can buy all these expensive drugs that are coming in. So only the drizzling part that are going down to our children, but there are other bigger players out there, and it's good to mention because you mentioned it, and it's out there.
It's all of us.
So
we are not blaming one set of generation. We are all affected.
And because sometimes when we are trying to fix the problem, but the problem is hidden out there for those that are calling the shots. So it's getting very difficult to deal with the issue.
Yeah, and that is why, like from the beginning, like what I mentioned, we cannot just create a forum to talk about it, and then you have this document to see through, and then you push it right through to the churches and the communities, and then it becomes a tick to say done. But how real is that done? How effective is that done? Has it really reached the grassroots people? And what about us as parents? Do we continuously blame them? No. Everybody has a part to play. Everybody needs to know the proactive actions that we need to make, and everybody just needs to know their roles. So for us parents that are tuning in and listening in today, this is not a blame game. We are not blaming any certain level of people, or blaming the government for it, or blaming the churches, or blaming the parents. No, we are not blaming. We should not be blaming. We should just ask ourselves, what can we do? What can we do? And do it in a small scale. Don't wait for the program to say, okay, we are organizing this big hearing to talk about grants. Don't wait for that news to come out and then you do something about it. Start small. Start small with your children. Start small with your grandchildren. Start talking about it in a smaller scale. If you have a small church that you go to, start there. If you have a small community meeting that you have within your village, start there. Start small. Because that awareness, having a few small people or number are hearing the same thing, then they go out and they start talking about it. So it increases the awareness that is out there. And we have a minute. So as we round up today, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to grants and how it's, the effects it has. And faithfully, we can continuously talk about it for the next 2 or 3 Saturdays. On where this is taking us, because it's not only affecting our children, it's affecting marriages, it's affecting families, it's affecting, women are leaving home. That never used to happen before. Mothers are just leaving a home and starting a new home altogether, a new family altogether, and just leaving behind their children. A lot of things are happening. And we are not really blaming grants to be the only thing. There may be other contributing factors as well. But Family Table Talk, it is. And Family Table Talk is the best time and a best place to be talking about these things. Yeah. On that note, we would like to thank you for joining us today.
Thank you
and
so much.
Also encourage all of us just being good parents. Today is Saturday and tomorrow is Sunday. If you don't go to church and you don't belong to any denomination, just stay home and tune in to one of the broadcasters as they have their church programs for MyTV, FBC, and also the Fiji TV. For us in Fiji, out here in New Zealand, I saw that TV program on Chime. And there's a lot out there in the Hope. For you people out there in other countries, it's bound to be, church programs. And the Door of Water program on the radio station as well, that you can watch a few that's based in America. So thank you for being part of this program. And all the best to your weekend, and then how you're going to be spending your day today. However you spend it, allocate some quality time for your family.
From Margaret here in Auckland, New Zealand, we say have a blessed weekend.